Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I was able to be on time today, which makes me really happy. I'm happy to have you all here for this 45-minute class. Grab a cushion if you'd like it for when we're on hands and knees, and I'll give you my usual disclaimer of just make sure you work at a pace that makes sense for your own body. Grab some water. It's still a little bit warm out and a little bit warm in the house, probably, or wherever you're doing the class. So grab some water, grab a towel, grab a cushion, and we will go ahead and get ourselves moving. All right, meet me up on that mat. Any cushioning, the extra cushioning that you have for when we're on hands and knees, go ahead and throw it off to the side somewhere where you can grab it easily later. And let's spread our feet wide. We're gonna get a nice wide base of support with our toes pointing out toward the front bottom corners of our room. Let's bend our knees a bit. We're gonna settle our tailbone down toward the floor, press the big toe, the pinky, and the heel down firmly into the floor, and just get a sense for where your weight tends to center itself without thinking about where maybe that base of support should be. Just take a second to figure out where yours is. Maybe if you feel safe doing so, close your eyes and see if that base changes or your stability over your base of support changes. So are we introducing any sway into the system? Are we moving toward the front of our foot, the back of the foot, toward one side or the other? Just notice what you feel going on and then open your eyes right back up. We're going to spread our toes apart, get a nice stretch across the instep and maybe the arch of the foot, and then scrunch your toes back toward your heel. Feel your arches lift just a little bit off the floor, and then we'll spread the toes and release them down to the mat. Let's repeat that a couple more times. Scrunch those toes up, spread them apart, and drop them toward the mat. One last time, scrunch those toes up, spread them apart, and then we'll place them on the floor, big toe, pinky, and heel of each foot, making a nice triangular base of support. We're gonna try to shift our weight so it's just in front of our heel, kind of right up at the highest point of our arch there. Let's look up and down toward the ceiling and toward the floor. Get an idea of how your neck is feeling. How's that mobility there? We're moving through a comfortable range, and then we bring our head up tall and turn. Let's look toward one side wall and toward the other. We'll turn and look again. Maybe we can see the wall behind us if we turn our eyes a little bit more. Maybe not. Either way is okay. And now as we look forward, we'll tip our head from side to side, ear to shoulder, lengthening out through the opposite side of the neck and the top of the shoulder. All right, one more time to each side. And then we bring that head up nice and tall. Take a big breath in. Breathing out, we draw our belly and our spine gently toward each other. Feel that seatbelt of muscles engaging and connecting around our midsection. We're going to keep some activity there. Take the string that we imagine at the crown of the head, draw it up to the ceiling. Picture a little bit extra space between each structure, between our head and our tail. Let's breathe in, shrugging and releasing our shoulders. Exhaling at a timing that works for you. Feel your blades sliding up and down along the back of that rib cage. And then we'll squeeze our blades together, opening up the chest. And we release those blades back to their natural stopping position. Again, we'll do that a few more times, squeezing and releasing at a speed that makes sense for you. Let's come back to center, open the arms out to shoulder level, and we'll turn our palms to face the screen. Let's bring our hands forward enough that we can see our thumbs wiggling in our peripheral vision. And from here, we bend those knees a little bit more, settle that tailbone down a little closer to the floor. Breathe in and exhaling, we again draw belly and spine toward each other so we have that trunk activation. Let's keep our waistline and below nice and still and turn from our breastbone. We're going to rotate that upper body from side to side, leading with the breastbone, the nose, and the head. They're moving all together, eyes, nose, and breastbone. And the arms are going along for the ride. We'll come back to face our screen, stretch the fingertips out toward the side walls, and let's spin our shoulders in their sockets, tracing some circles on those side walls. Keep your breath going. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1, and we'll switch directions. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's see if we can turn our palms to face up toward the ceiling. Bring the thumbs back a little bit. We're going to try to bring our pinkies back till they just disappear from our peripheral vision. And we should feel a stretch across the front of those upper arms, right through the chest. From here, we squeeze our shoulder blades together a bit. Maybe we can get our thumbs to move and pulse back toward our back walls. Pulse for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arms come down. Shrug and release the shoulders, and we bring our arms all the way up and overhead. Let's clasp our fingers, press them to the ceiling, and straighten out our elbows as best we can. See if you need to release those shoulders. We can drop them away from our ears if they've crept up there. Let's take some nice tall side bends. We'll bring our hands and the crown of the head up and over toward the top of the side wall. And then we press ourselves through that foot up and over to the other side. Inhale up to center, exhale, side bend. One more time. Inhale up, arms to the ceiling, and breathing out, we take our side bend. Take those arms overhead again. Let's narrow up our base of support and bring the arms down by our sides. Give everything a little shake, a little roll. And with our feet hip width apart, so heels are lined up with our sit bones, we'll take our fingertips and our thumb, make a C with the index finger and that thumb, and we're going to place that right along the sides of our waist. So our fingertips are in front, pressing gently into our oblique muscles, and the thumbs are in back. Breathe in here and exhaling again, we reset belly to spine and we shift our weight. Let's go forward and back. We're doing our best here to keep the weight evenly distributed over both feet. And as we go, the pinky, the heel, and our big toe are all pressed firmly and equally into the floor. We're going to feel more weight on the toes as we come forward, more weight on the heels as we come back. But pay attention to what's going on underneath the fingertips. We should feel a little bit of activity going on underneath our fingers, which are going to be more pronounced as we come back to center over the ankles and we shift side to side. We'll feel those side muscles kicking into our fingertips with a little more prominence as we shift this way. We're also going to feel the sides of our hips engaging, the sides of our thighs, maybe all the way from the side of the hip down toward that outer knee joint. We might feel our lower legs kicking into the mix. And then let's keep our feet on the floor and circle that weight. Big toe, pinky, and heel keep pressed into the floor. Our arches are a little lifted. We feel those muscles moving underneath our fingertips. And then pause wherever you are and take a breath. Breathing out, let's take our circle the other way. There's 4, 3, 2. We finish our final circle and we're going to wind up on the balls of our feet. Spread those toes away from each other. And as we come forward toward our big toes, we can lift our heels up just a little bit, hover those heels up off the mat. We can balance here, feeling the soles of our feet and our calves engage. If we want to make this more challenging, go up a little higher. And then let's shift the weight down and up, lower and lift those heels, moving from the ankles, feeling those muscles in the feet, muscles in the backs of the thighs, muscles in the backs of those lower legs engaging. 3, 2, 1, and we lower our heels. Let's bring our weight over the middle of each foot, shake the knees out, shake your wrists out, and let's bring our feet shoulder width apart. So they're about 1.5 feet away from each other, maybe. Feet are parallel, soften those knees, bend them up a touch, and take the pinky sides of your hands right to the fold in the hips. We're going to keep a bit of activity navel to spine. I don't want you to feel like you're really clenching down. Just a touch of activity right around that navel is all we're going for. We're going to give our shoulders a little backward roll, nod the chin toward the neck, and tip that trunk forward. We're going to take our tailbone to the back wall and the crown of the head forward to our screen. Bend your knees if you need to take slack back into the system and get stress off your lower back. But from here, we should feel a bit of engagement through our hamstrings. If we squeeze our glutes, we're going to feel our outer thighs start to work. Let's reach our fingertips toward the floor. Bending the elbows, we tuck them in by our sides and squeeze our shoulder blades. There's a little bent over row. Release the arms down. Let's move through our bent over row. Squeezing and releasing at a speed that makes sense for us individually. Keeping equal weight through our feet. We tuck those elbows in by the sides and press the arms straight. Reach those fingertips to the back wall. Press and press. Scoop the arms overhead. We'll bring ourselves up nice and tall. And let's open our arms out to T again and turn the palms to face the floor with our fingertips reaching out toward our side walls. Elbows are going to stay straight and we point our fingertips down and up, giving a little glide to those nerves that exit the base of the neck and go all the way down into the fingertips, through those chest muscles, through all those connective tissues around the chest. We're going to go up and down with our arms, waving those hands as we go, waving them back down out through T and all the way down by our sides. Shake those wrists out, grab your cushion if you have one, and let's place that cushion in the center of the mat. We'll turn toward it and back our way up till we have about 1 foot behind us toward the back edge of our mat. We want to have that cushion in front of us far enough that we can get our knees down with our toes still staying on the floor once we make our way to all fours. We're going to scoop those arms up and forward overhead. Big breath in. We'll scoop them out to the sides and down by the thighs. Slide the fingertips down the thighs with soft knees, a little bit of a bend. We make our way down to the mat. So we're going to walk those hands forward. Toes stay where they are. Let's see if we can bring our knees down to any extra padding that we might have. If we're not there yet, go ahead and take a moment to get those knees settled. The balls of the feet are pressed into the floor, so we're getting a little stretch through the undersides of our big toes here. Roll toward the big toes and toward the pinkies. Give those ankles a little stretch. Give those tissues on the soles of the feet a little stretch. And we're going to reset belly to spine. Let's see if we can keep our back nice and still as we draw the muscles up from the belly toward the trunk. Let's rock that bottom back and forth toward the heels and then right back up over those knees. Again, pressing gently into the balls of the feet. If this doesn't feel good, if you have stiff toes, we can turn the tops of the feet down. That's okay. We rock back one more time, and then we come right back up with the hips over the knees. Let's curl through cat, tucking the tail under and looking toward the thighs. Release it to cow with the tailbone up and the breastbone reaching forward. Again, curl to cat. Reverse through cow, and we bring that body back to neutral. Again, we're going to press the bottom toward the heels and we curl to cat. Notice there's a little more stretch through that lower back when our bottom's toward the heels versus when we're up over that all fours position. We reverse to cow, tailbone up. Curl to cat. Last one. Tailbone up to cow, and we bring our body right back up to all fours. Let's take the tops of the feet, press them into the mat, and shake our wrists out. Bringing that hand down to the mat, we're going to tap our toes to the outer edges of the mat that we're just beyond, and then cross one ankle bone over the other. Tap, cross the other one over. Tap and cross, tap and cross. One more, tap and cross. Last time, tap and cross. Let's unwind those legs. Shins are parallel to each other, and we give our tail a side-to-side wag with shoulders nice and still. Feel your side muscles engaging and feel a little bit of lengthening just below the belt line on the side we're moving our hips away from. Coming back to center, our toes come together. We bring our knees to the outer edges of our mat, and let's rock the bottom back toward our heels. We're going to drop to our forearms and slide those hands toward the head of the mat. Take a breath here, looking toward those fingertips, and exhaling, lower that forehead toward the floor. Maybe it touches. If you find that you're in a position where you're getting a really, really big stretch through those armpits and the head won't go down, don't force it. Hold that head right between those arms, and we take a big breath in. Feel those armpits opening up. Feel the back and outsides of that ribcage open, and then we breathe, taking it a little farther down into our stretch position. Let's soften our elbows, drop the forearms to the floor, and shift the weight over those forearms. If you do have an extra cushion under your knees, take them out of the way right now, put them somewhere near the head of the mat, and we're going to lengthen our legs down toward the floor, press into those forearms, and send that breastbone up to the wall in front of us. Maybe we can think about widening our collarbones away from the center. That's going to open up the chest and allow us to drop our shoulders away from our ears. We'll take a big breath in here, and on that exhale, set the belly up toward the spine, and let's press into our elbows, seeing if we can gently unweight the lower part of our thighs from the mat. We're going to rest just above our kneecaps here in a little mini plank. Shift that weight toward and away from the screen, pressing through those shoulder blades. The higher up we lift on the elbows and toward those lower thighs, the more we're going to feel our trunk engaging. Come on back to center, breathing in. Exhaling, we turn toward our screen, tuck the forearm underneath the body, and make our way all the way down to the mat with the arms resting by our sides and our heels lined up with the bottom. Let's picture that clock face on our pelvis. We're going to keep our hands down by our sides. Our collarbones widen away from center so we get a little stretch across the chest. And let's tuck our tail between our legs, curling the pubic bone toward the breastbone for 12 o'clock. Release that tailbone, lengthen it toward the heels, allowing the low back to lift up off the floor slightly to 6 o'clock. Curl to 12, lengthen to 6, curl to 12, lengthen to 6. Coming back to that neutral pelvic position, let's rock the pelvis toward the far wall with the near hip on the screen side lifting up. We bring that pelvis through neutral and we rock the far side of the pelvis up, tipping that body toward our screen for 9 o'clock. Rock it to 3, roll it through center and over to 9. One more time, rock that pelvis toward the far wall. There's 3 o'clock. Through center and neutral and over to 9. Then we bring that pelvis back to center, big breath in. And breathing out, we reset belly to spine. I want you to take your far hand, middle finger and thumb are going to go right to the lowest points on that rib cage. Thumb on one side, finger on the other. We're going to see if we can draw, using our trunk muscles, draw those 2 points toward each other and down toward the mat. We're going to feel the upper abdominals engage. As we do so, we feel our lower abdominals engage. And if we're not feeling anything, we're going to draw them to our spine. Just picture those muscles drawing down. With the arms floating up at the ceiling and those ribs resting down toward the mat, bring one knee up to 90 degrees, the other knee up to tabletop, and we'll press our knees and ankles together. Rock the lower half of the body side to side. Shoulder blades stay resting on the mat. Head, neck, and breastbone stay nice and still, and the lower half of the body rocks from side to side. To challenge things further, straighten those knees out. And again, we rock side to side, allowing the hip to come up on the side we're moving our legs away from. Let's make some circles on the ceiling. Trace them with both feet tightly glued together. Make it a corkscrew with those legs. 2. Circle for 1. We'll breathe in with the toes up at the ceiling, and then exhaling, we'll take our circle the other way. There's 4. Circle 3. 2. And 1. Breathe right back to center. Exhaling, we bend our knees to tabletop. Take the knees away from each other and press the hands and the thighs toward each other while dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Big breath in. Breathing out, reset belly to spine. And let's pull the knee farthest from the screen into the body as we stretch our free leg nice and straight and lower it down till it's just hovered a couple inches off the floor. Holding here, we breathe in. Breathing out, we switch our legs and press. Inhale, switch and press. Exhale, switch. Inhale, switch. Exhale, switch. We repeat here for 4. For 3. Ribs stay down. There's 2. And 1. Keep that leg on the screen side pulled in. We'll lengthen our straight other leg all the way down to the mat, pressing the heel and the back of that knee into the floor as we pull the knee in a little closer to the body on that pulled in side. We're going to feel a little length through the hip flexor, the front of the hip on the outstretched leg. We're going to feel a little bit of compression through the front of the hip on the other. Let's see if we can relax the front of that hip and let that muscle avoid kind of being pinched between the pelvis and the thigh. We're going to rock that knee out side to side toward the screen and toward the far wall, lengthening out through those hips. We come back to middle, reset belly to spine, and take that hovered leg straight and out, hover off the mat again. Use those toes, circle from the hip joint on the wall in front. Trace that circle. Rest of the body stays nice and still as we move that leg, and we breathe in. Exhaling, take that circle the other way for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull that knee in to meet the other. Exhaling, we press the other leg out, drop it to the mat. As the back of the knee and the back of that heel touch the floor, we feel our outstretched leg lengthen out in front. Again, maybe a little compression through the front of the hip on the other side. And we'll wiggle that knee from side to side, seeking to actively release the front of that hip. As we draw that knee right back to center, we clasp the shin in a little closer to the bodies. Inhale, and breathing out, we reset belly to spine. Float that straight leg off the mat and use those toes to circle the wall in front. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause and take a breath. Reset those ribs down toward the floor, and we circle the other way. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg, hang on behind the lifted thigh, and kick that thigh into the hands. We start with our shin parallel to the ceiling, and then we breathe in, stretching those toes up to the ceiling toward a straight leg position. Bend back to tabletop. Breathing in, we straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten and hold and wiggle that ankle. Flex and point. It's okay if your knee is not completely straight. If we can't move the ankle at all, I want you to bend that knee. Give it a little bit of motion. Point those toes to the ceiling. Big breath in. Exhaling, our lifted legs stay still as we take our hands down by our sides. We're going to feel that core component as we press the back down into the mat and lift those toes up. We're using our trunk to control, or our core to control that trunk position. Let's take our lifted leg out to the far wall and over toward the screen, repeating at a speed that makes sense for you. We're trying to keep the back of that hip on the floor. So we take it over only as far as the hip joint itself will allow. Crossing over to reach toward the screen, let's sweep through a circle. Toes are reaching upward. There's 3, 2. Breathe in at the top, and then exhaling, we take it the other way. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend that knee in. Draw it in with the hands to the body. Again, actively releasing that front of that hip. Take a breath and switch sides, lengthening the other leg out along the mat. Let's hang on behind our lifted thigh. Kick the thigh to the hands and bring that knee to a perpendicular shin position with the ceiling, tabletop. Inhaling, we stretch our toes up. Exhaling, bend that knee. Inhale and straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. We hold it there. We wiggle through our ankle, bending the knee a little bit more if we do need more slack. Point those toes to the ceiling. We'll reset belly to spine, draw those ribs down, and feel that core engage as we take our hands to the mat with our leg lifting up and reaching toward the ceiling. Let's breathe our leg out toward the screen and up and over toward the far wall, allowing that thigh to cross midline of the trunk. As long as you can keep your hip down on the floor, we're trying to keep it from lifting. Side to side, out toward the screen, up and over toward the far wall, and let's sweep through our circles, stirring the hip in its socket. If you need to bend the knee, like I am, go ahead and do so. Add a little more slack into the system. Breathe in at the top. Exhaling, we reverse that circle for 4, for 3, for 2. One more time, toes up. Bend the knee, clasp it in toward the body, and release the front of the hip. Let's draw the other knee in to meet that pulled in one, and we rock side to side, allowing that low back to open up and melt down into the floor. Let's breathe back to center. Give the shoulders a few rolls up, back, and down, keeping that head nice and still. Grab onto your kneecaps, and we'll guide them right back up to tabletop 90-90. Inhale here, exhale, shoulders come away from the ears. We stretch our feet up to the ceiling, and let's reach our arms up to the ceiling as well. Our goal here is perpendicular thighs to floor. If that means bending the knees a little bit, that's completely fine. You go with what your body is letting you do. We set that core, belly to spine, and let's open those feet out to the sidewalls for V. Find some length through the inner thigh if you can, and then we inhale, touching those toes back together. Exhale to V, inhale, feet together. Exhale to V, inhale, feet together. Exhale, halfway to V, and we bend our knees, touching those toes to each other for frog. Holding here, we reset belly to spine, flatten that low back a touch closer to the floor. Exhaling, press your toes and knees all the way toward the wall in front. Inhale back to frog, bend those knees, toes coming in toward the body. Exhale to frog, toes toward the wall in front. Inhale, press out from frog. One more time, inhale to frog. Exhale, press. Bending the knees, we come back to that parallel tabletop position and hug everything into the body. Rock side to side as we breathe in. Side to side as we breathe out. Coming back to center, we separate those knees hip width apart. Guide the legs back up to our tabletop position and float the arms back to the ceiling. We're going to flex our feet and then roll those ankles in circles, one direction and then the other. Pausing with those toes pulled back toward the knees. Reset belly to spine as needed, and one at a time we take a heel to and from the mat, tapping the floor before coming right back to our tabletop. Lower and tap, and lift, tap, and lift, tap, and lift. Here's 4. There's 3, 2, 1. Inhale to tabletop. We have 4 more taps. Maybe it's both heels down together. Maybe it's one at a time. Tap 3. Inhale, lift. Last 2. Inhale, lift. Last time. Heels come down, our toes come down, and we open our arms out to T. Fingertips are in line with our shoulders. We're stretching those fingertips out in a straight line away from each other from one side wall to the other. Let's rock our knees from side to side toward the far wall, toward the screen, and we're going to repeat that a few more times. Keep pressing the shoulder blades into the floor. See if you can press your middle back between those shoulder blades into the mat as well. The low back open up. Let those chest muscles open up. We'll breathe our knees back to the ceiling, inch the heels a little closer to the body, and draw those arms down by our sides, flipping the palms to face the floor. Big breath in. Breathe out belly to spine, squeezing the glutes. We're going to lift our hips up toward the ceiling. Big breath in at the top. Exhale, lengthen that tailbone down toward the heels. Tap the floor, squeeze and lift. 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 We're going to hold our bridge here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We reset belly to spine and lengthen that tailbone down to the mat. Release the glutes and rock those knees from side to side. One more time to each. Far wall and screen. Right back to the ceiling and breathe. Exhaling belly to spine. We squeeze and lift those hips right back up to bridge again. Keep those hips lifted and we take one knee at a time out toward each side wall before floating that knee back to face the wall in front. Side to side. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees reach forward, big breath in. Breathing out, we lengthen that body down again. Release those glutes at the bottom and rock the knees again side to side. Big breath into one side. Big breath out to the other. And we inhale those knees right back to the ceiling. Exhale, belly to spine. Squeeze and lift. We're going to hold that bridge up at the top. Hips stay lifted. Take it up and down on the toes. Heels come up for 8, 7, and lower. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels come down, big breath in. Exhaling, we bridge back down. Release the bottom and rock those knees side to side. Again, big breath in, knees over to one side, and we exhale them over to the other. Knees to the center, we breathe in. Belly to spine on the exhale, squeeze and lift those hips. Hold them up in the air. Our last bridging series. We're going to move through a march. We can start with our knees drawing straight in toward the shoulders. Press your supporting foot firmly into the mat, keeping the heel on the floor. Maybe the next time we march, we cross one ankle to the other knee. Lift that leg up and repeat. Lift, tap, lift, foot down. Lift, cross to the other knee. Lift and down. One more time. Lift that leg. Tap the knee. Lift, take it down. Pressing through both heels, we lift our hips and breathe in. Exhaling, lengthen that body down to the mat. Releasing the hips at the bottom. Rock the knees side to side. There's 4. Rock 3. Here's 2. And 1. Come on back to center. Cross an ankle over the other knee. We're going to hold it there and lift if we have a little more slack. I want you to be able to keep your shoulders and your head nice and still on the mat. Rock away from that crossed over leg, whether your foot is lifted off the mat or resting on it. And we should feel that stretch move outward on that hip a little bit. Breathe back to center. Switch it up. Again, ankle to knee. Hold it there. Lifting if we have a little more slack, and then we rock. You can hold onto your leg. Your arms could be down by your side. Lots of options. Inhale to center and breathing out, we hug those knees into the body. Let's take our feet to the floor. Turn over to hands and knees, grabbing that cushion if you'd like it underneath the knees. We'll bring it right to the center of the mat if we are using extra padding. Once those knees are settled, we get our wrists and shoulders, our knees and hips lined up in as straight of a line as we can. So arms and thighs are parallel to each other here. Let's curl from cat to cow. And we'll repeat that one more time. Curl it up to cat, breathe in. Take it through to cow, breathing out, and come back to neutral for a side to side tail wag, and one more time, side to side. Come on back to center, reset belly to spine, and let's tap one hand to the opposite shoulder. We're going to keep this tapping motion going, maybe moving our fingertips out toward the outer edges of our mat to get the sides of that trunk a little more. Tap, come back underneath those shoulders, walk the hands forward, maybe one palm's length. Keeping that core active, we shift our body forward, shoulders and wrists again lined up with those hips slightly open. So past that 90-degree mark. We're going to again move into our tap, and we're going to feel this move into a little more of the lower portion of our abdominals down toward the pelvis. And tap. Hands come down, turn the toes under, press the balls of the feet into the mat. We reset belly to spine and come up to plank. Let's hold plank and tap one foot at a time out to the outer borders of our mat or just beyond. If that is too much lengthening on the toes, bring your knees down and take a bent knee to each side. We're going to keep tapping here for 4, For 3, for 2, and for 1. Knees come right back to that padding. Curl through cat and take it to cow before coming back to center and shaking off those wrists a little bit. With those hands on the mat, we're going to slide our screen side leg back, arc it to the side wall. Press that foot toward the floor and find your inner thigh. Feel it open up, lengthen down to the mat. We can hold here and breathe through that stretch, or we can add a little movement to it and rock the bottom back toward the heel. And we come right back up till that knee lines up over or in line with our hip. Excellent. One more time. Back, come up tall, slide that leg back, breathe it in next to the other, and we exhale the opposite leg back. Arc that far leg to the sidewall and press the foot into the floor, letting that inner thigh lengthen toward the mat. Again, we hold here and breathe, or we add our rock back, bottom to heel. One more time, bottom to heel. Coming up tall, we again press through our hands. We lengthen the leg behind the body. Squeeze that glute, lift it up, lift the heel up off the floor. Toes stretch to the wall behind us, and that opposite arm reaches forward. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Switch sides, lengthen that leg back, lift and reach the other arm forward. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more time each side. Lengthen and reach. 4, 3, 2, and 1. One last time. Lengthen and reach. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the hand down. Take that knee down. Curl through cat. Hold cat. And we're going to walk our hands back to our knees and come up nice and tall. We're in a nice tall kneel. Adjust that cushion under your knees if needed. Shake your wrists out and bring the hands to the waistline. We're going to work a little bit of balance here. So if you need to be next to something steady, go ahead and find a chair, a table, a wall, something that you can put your hands near or bring to you. We're going to shift our weight toward our screen and bring that far foot forward. Holding that little half kneel, we'll take our hands on our waistline. We should have our knees on one side, our foot on the other. They should be about hip width apart. So it's like our two legs are on train tracks. We're going to shift our weight slightly forward and slightly back, driving the knee over that front foot and then pressing that bottom back over that back shin. Forward and back. We should feel our quad working. Little balance work through that front foot. We'll come forward into our half kneel again, and then shift toward the screen, come back through our tall kneel and take breath. Exhaling, we're going to repeat on the other side. Shift to that far wall. The screen side foot comes forward and we place it on the mat. Let's again shift forward and back, seeing if we can keep our legs on those two train tracks versus feeling like we have to have one leg right in front of the other. We come back over that back knee. And let's come right back to our tall kneel. Inhale those hands forward to shoulder level, and then breathing out, we're going to lean the body back. Find your quads. Inhale up tall over those knees, and breathing out, we shift that body weight back. Inhale up over the legs. Exhale, shift back. One more time. Inhale up over those knees. Exhale, shift back. We hold here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And the arms come down. We come up tall over the knees. And let's take a seat on our mat, moving that cushion out of our way. Sit up nice and tall over the front of our sit bones. We're going to take our heels to the outer edges of the mat and then slide them out until we feel either a stopping point or a stretch through those hamstrings. We're going to slide our fingertips up, height of our shoulders, out to the level of our feet. And then let's open the arms out to the sides so we can just see our thumbs wiggling in our peripheral vision. Big breath in. Exhaling, reset that trunk, belly to spine, turn that body toward our screen. Breathing in, we face the wall in front of us. Exhaling, we lengthen and turn toward our far wall. And we breathe in to face forward. Exhale, turn toward that screen. Inhale, face forward, and exhale, turn toward that far wall. Inhale, face forward. We take our arms down, bring the legs together, shake the legs out. And then turn your fingertips toward our outside walls. We're going to bring the hands behind the body and squeeze the blades, letting the body rest our weight onto the heels of our hands. So elbows are going to be straight here. We're going to send our breastbone up to the top of the wall in front of us. Let's point our toes. We want our body back enough that we can get our legs straight. So if you're real tight through your hamstrings, your arms may be back a little bit farther and a little farther away from each other. That's okay. We're going to hold here, and I want you to see if you can lift one foot at a time up off the mat. We're pressing some weight through our hands. And the ultimate goal here is going to be to lift those hips up off the mat a little, or to lift them up a lot. I'll leave that up to you. We'll take it up and down. I'm choosing an intermediate route. There's 3, there's 2, and 1. Lower the hips if they've been lifted. We're going to bend our knees, grab those shins, and roll the shoulders back and down. Okay, shake those wrists out. Let's turn and face our screen. And we're going to come down onto one forearm with our knees forward and our heels lined up with the bottom. Press your bottom supported shoulder away from your ear and lift that waistline up from the mat. We're going to bring our top hand to that top hip. Let's press into our forearm. Lift and lower the side body from the mat. We take it up as high as we can. Even just a little lift off the mat is real good for those side muscles. There's 2. And 1. Hold it up there. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Top arm to the ceiling. Tap it down and up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that hip down. We'll come up nice and tall. Let's bring ourselves to our other side. Again, resting on that forearm. We bring our knees forward, line our heels up with the bottom. Lift up that waistline as we drop our shoulder away from the ear, and the top hand goes to the top of the hip. Press through that forearm, and we lift up for 4. Lift 3. Lift 2. Lift and hold. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arm to the ceiling. Take it down and up. There's 4. And 3. Lift 2. And 1. Hip comes down. Let's take ourselves up to a sitting position. Legs are wherever they're comfortable. We're going to shake our wrists out. Give that chin a little nod toward the neck and turn. We look toward one side wall and toward the other. We'll repeat that one more time. Look over one shoulder, over the other. And let's make our way down to our other side. We're going to rest on our bottom arm. Straighten up the legs and flex the feet. With the top hand resting down into the mat, we roll slightly forward, and now we press into that bottom hand, or top hand rather. Let's lift our top leg to hip height. We're going to swing that foot forward, forward, point the toe and draw it back. Kick it forward, forward, point it back. Kick forward, forward, point back. One more time. We kick, and point. Top arm comes overhead. Line up your elbow with your ear. Toes come down and up for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arc the leg forward. Touch it down in front of that bottom leg. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee. Take that top hand to the mat. We move through hydrants. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to hip height. That knee stays still. We take our toes to that bottom leg. Take the top knee down and up. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch that leg out. Point the bottom toes. Keep those thighs nice and active, and we take our bottom leg up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Top leg comes down. Bend those knees up, and we give our hip a pat. Let's reach our arm toward the screen. Big breath in as we bring our hand to the ceiling, and we look to our fingertips. Breathe it out as we open to that open book stretch position. Arm reaches toward the far wall. We turn our trunk to face the ceiling. Inhale that arm to the ceiling. Exhale it forward. Let's take it one more time. Arm comes up. Exhale it back. Breathe it up to the ceiling. And we exhale it forward. Let's go ahead and take ourselves up and over to our other side. Take your time. We rest on that bottom arm. Straighten out the knees. We're going to flex our feet and press our top hand into the mat. Rolling that top hip forward, we press our hand a little more firmly into the floor. Lift that top leg. Flex that top foot. We swing it forward, forward, point and draw it back. Flex it forward, forward, point it back. 2 more times. Flex, flex, and point. And flex, flex, and point. Hold it there. Top arm stretches overhead. Toes come down and up. There's 4, 3, 2, 1. Arc the leg forward, touch it down, and lift. Lower and lift. 2 more. Down and up. Keep that leg at hip height. We take our top hand back down to the mat and bend that top knee. Lift for hydrants. There's 4, 3, 2, And 1, back to hip height. That knee stays still. We take our toes to the bottom leg. Top knee comes down and up. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch that top leg out straight. Straighten out that bottom leg, line it up with the top leg, and point those toes. Pressing the top hand into the mat, we lift and lower that bottom leg. There's 8, 7. Pull from the inner thigh. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that top leg down. Bend up your knees and give your hip a pat. Let's reach toward that screen and bring the arm to the ceiling as we breathe in. Look to those fingertips and exhale back. Open book stretch. Inhale, arm up. Exhale forward. We repeat one more time. Arm comes up. Breathe it back. Arm comes up. Let's take it forward. Bringing the arms down by our sides, we'll turn onto our backs and bring the hands down to the mat right next to our trunk. Rock the knees side to side. Keep those shoulders on the mat. Keep that breastbone, the nose, and eyes facing directly up to the ceiling. Bring those knees up, flip the palms to face the ceiling, and open the arms out to the side. Again, we rock our knees from side to side, stretching the fingertips outward, lengthening out through the chest. One more time, rock the knees to one side and right over to the other. Come on back to center. Bring those hands up to the ceiling. Let's turn toward our screen and grab that cushion if you'd like it. Meet me on hands and knees. All right, once we're there, settle up into that all fours position. Big breath in, breathe out, belly to spine. Curl the cat, look toward those thighs. Like the cow looking forward with the tailbone up. Again, curl it up to cat. Take it through to cow, and we come back to center to give our tail a side to side wag. Bringing those hips back to neutral, turn your toes under and press the bottom back to the heels, walking the hands back to the knees. Let's shift our weight over to our feet. Once we're settled over those ankles, we'll pop ourselves up nice and tall. Shake the wrists out. Give that head a shake and roll the shoulders back and down. Let's meet in the center of our mat. If you want to find something to hold onto as we work on some single leg balance, go ahead and grab it now. Either pull a chair toward you or bring yourself towards something steady. We're going to bring our hands to our waistline and shift the weight to one side. Bring that other foot in close so we're balanced on one flat foot and on the ball of the other foot. Shifting a little bit closer to the flat foot, we can spring up onto the toes of the other side. And finally, let's see if we can lift that leg. We're going to hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that foot down. Shift the other way, shake out that leg we just stood on, and stay up on the ball of that foot as we switch and shift to our other foot as the flat foot side. Shift a little farther, come up to the toes on the other side, and spring up to that single leg position, using something steady for balance as much as you need to. Hold 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet come down, shake those legs out, shake those wrists out, settle the weight back toward the heels. Spread those toes apart. We're going to breathe in, shrugging the shoulders up, and exhale them down. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale out to the sides and down. Let's take our feet together. We're going to look down toward our toes. Breathing in, the arms come up. We clasp the palms, press them all the way to the ceiling. Look to those hands. Looking forward. Let's see if we can close our eyes if you feel safe doing so. Those hands are still reaching up to the ceiling. We're dropping our shoulder blades down the back side of the body, and we're pressing our feet firmly into the mat. Big toe, pinky, and heel. Keeping the eyes closed if we can, we open our arms out through T, stretch them down by the sides, and reach those fingertips all the way down, long toward those ankle bones. Picture a string at the crown of the head, drawing that head upward. Picture a string through that tailbone, drawing it down to anchor you right down toward the mat between those two heels. Inhale here. Exhale, and we open our eyes. One more time, we breathe our arms up and overhead. This time we press the palms together and we exhale to center. Great job as always. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for working hard, and I'm looking forward to next time. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank